I think the challenge has been on the whole process of public participation here. And public participation is a constitutional process, but people take it as just a formality, as people just ticking boxes. The MCA rules are very clear on what is supposed to happen in the public participation, including the approval of, developments. Even the County Government Act and the Physical Planning Act is very clear on what is supposed to be done. You find from the documents I'll share with you is that these processes, which are NEMA processes, because the public participation which was supposed to be happening yesterday, and remember yesterday was Maandamano Day, so most of the people, even residents who are living nearby, a good number of them, because of the security situation, and there being a lot of diplomats and individuals who work in the foreign embassies, they were advised not to leave their homes. But when they hear that there is a development, public participation, which is happening in their neighborhoods, they were worried. And they kept calling. So this was supposed to be the third one. And I asked them that, what is the hurry? What is the hurry of conducting a public participation on a day where there is insecurity and people cannot be able to attend?
Did you approve first and second?
Yeah? No, we have not even been called. You're not even told. I'm the elected representative. The MP is not told. The MCA is not told. The OCS. In fact, these people brought police officers. They brought some 4 police officers from Kibra to come there. There's a DCC office in Kawangware. There's a DCC office. The officers didn't come from DCC's office. So if the area offices and the police standing orders are very clear that if you're going to conduct an operation in the jurisdiction of an OCS, inform the OCS. I asked the OCS, what is happening here? So it seems what I found out is that the ACC Kilimani, Mr. Hassan, is the one who is behind this clientele. So this development, which are going, the apartments, the huge apartments, they pay the chiefs 500,000 to import for them non-residents. People are brought in from as far as Mlolongo, from Kitengela. People are brought in from Dandora. If you check on the documents, which I'll share with you, you'll find that you have individuals who are neighbors in Kilimani and Kileleshwa constantly. You see? So these are issues which you are addressing the county. That, can we please stop this? The county, the ward admin was not there. The sub-county admin was not there. I asked the sub-county admin and the ward admin, this is a physical planning process. Apart from being NEMA, after the NEMA approval, they are now supposed to get the county approval. The county is not aware. So I asked them that, if NEMA is not aware, and NEMA is supposed to supervise the process, how is the process happening? Ati chief amesema kwamba hiyo ni process yake. You remember, in the public participation, the chief is supposed to be on the side of the wananchi. He's supposed to be on the side of the public and to tell the public that if you don't want this structure, we are not going to approve it.
Are these increasing number of high-rises?
Now, today, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you cannot get electricity in Lavington, Kileleshwa, even Waruku and Kawangware. A good number of them, you go blackout from 7 p.m. to around 9, 10 p.m. You cannot get power because the capacity which is supposed to serve the area was supposed to serve as last in 1997. So if today you are replacing single dwelling units, like in Kileleshwa, averagely you have 60 developments ongoing. These 60 developments, you have replaced 60 families. Each development which these things have replaced, they are building 300 to 400 units. So let's say 300. So 300 times 60, 18,000. So you're bringing 18,000 families. That is families. And remember, an household, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, a household is averagely 5 people. So you're bringing 18,000 households times 5 is 90,000 people, the same electricity supply, the same roads, the same sewer system, the same water system, so it is that road where they want to build 25 floors. The court ruled, when the Raptor residents went to court, they said the maximum you can do in that area is 16 floors. You see, which the residents still oppose because Kileleshwa still falls under Zone 4. Zone 4 is supposed to be not more than 4, ground plus 4. So ground plus 4, you cannot build more than 4 according to the new plan. The only physical development plan we have in place. But these people went to court and the court had their own reason why they gave them 16 floors. But even the 16 floors, they still had to go in that notice for development. They're saying 20 floors. You ask them that, is this a new creation? Why are you doing, and why is the chiefs facilitating? And in that process, you find the chief of Kilimani. Wanatembea kama mapacha na chief of Kileleshwa. It's like, it's a cartel.
But is it that they know you will reject such kind of knowledge? Or
It's, you know,
why should they do
you know me, I don't own Kileleshwa, and I don't, it is not my property. It is the property of the residents. And you know, if the residents want these developments, they can allow them to happen. But what I want is I want to facilitate a legal process, so that residents would not blame me and say that mheshimiwa wetu alikuwa amenyamaza. I want a legal process that you come and say, oh, we started in time, we gave proper announcements, there were newspaper adverts, there were radio adverts, because it is very clear. The TV, the radio, newspapers, you are supposed to advertise where most of the residents who are going to be affected by the developments are. If they are not reading newspapers, usiweke one line classified. This is what they do. Wanasema wame-advertise, kumbe wame-feature one line classified in a day with the lowest circulation. So you come and they choose the newspaper with the lowest circulation. So it is just to tick the boxes. When they go to the NEMA, they present a cutout and say it was on newspaper. They don't specify which newspaper, which day, and the NEMA doesn't look at these things. So, in fact, at the event yesterday, the NEMA director in charge of Nairobi, Mr. Lopokoyotu, came and asked them that, what was the hurry? Why did you have to bring them today? Why did you have to guys to do today? You know, why did you have to bring askaris from Kibra to come and shoot? You know, and it is very frustrating, because there are now so many, the residents are blaming you while you are not even aware there's such a process. When you go to some of these developments, like we are going, you find them armed. Because it seems like some people collect 20 to 30 million from these processes. Then
no evidence of these chiefs receiving 500,000.
But you know, the people who are coming there are confirming. How are you paying people 1,000? And you ask them, they'll confess to them. You know, hey boss, what is happening here? They'll tell you, unajua hao machifu wanalipwa shilingi 500 for every one of this process. And that's why they insist that they have to happen. So it is very painful to me, because it is not, it's not a personal war. But when you give me a mandate to protect the wananchi, and sometimes people blame you for illegal development, you saw the kind of deaths which happened in South Sea. And the residents went there, actually the county askaris went there and they were beaten. One had legs broken. So some of these places, when you go nowadays, you know that you are going to go into, you know, in a very, and none of them have been charged. You remember people died. People died actually and were buried. They have not been charged. Parklands, people died, were buried. They have not been charged. You know, so it's like...
From yesterday's incident, reports are that two chiefs...
Nobody was physically assaulted. You know, people are now creating stories, because we have raised with the PS Interior and the Interior Ministry and plus the Regional Commissioner, because now it seems like, apart from the ACC, the DCC is also involved in the cartel. We have raised that this seems to be a cartel within the sub-county administration from the national government. So if the chiefs have been assaulted, there's a process for them to file that. But I think that because we collected a lot of evidence last week, the last process, so as go to NEMA and collect a lot of evidence of how they have been doing these public participations. And what we found is a network of cartels. We even thought that we were just, you know, sometimes we are just speaking about these, but we found that the names, the conveners, the meetings, you know, even in some situations like in Raptor Roads, there are two developments where residents, the majority opinion was that please don't build. And approval was given. You ask NEMA why approval was given, at the Director General alisema kwamba wapewe tu. So he asks, how do you give just approval na residents wamekataa? Because residents of an area like in Kileleshwa or Raptor Road area, they have priority list. They are saying that now we have many apartments. Okay, can you do for us a public library? Can you do for us a social place? Can you do for us these places? The places which they need most. So if you are building one bedroom, like these guys want to build, I think they want to do one bedroom units. So you ask them that one bedroom units, you are targeting students or who? Where is the need? You know, the demand is from who? These residents are saying that for the open plots, can you please do this development to support their living? None of these people want to listen to them. So that is the pain which I think we are going through. And
in your letter to the Interior PS, projects are allowed to go on to proceed. what impact will they have?
Oh my God! You know, we are creating the vertical slums and the densification which is ongoing in Nairobi. I don't think that we have the capacity to normalize them. You know, because I see the county wanted to do something called regularization, which is regularizing illegalities. And I don't know how you will regularize a building which has been built on riparian land. You know, I don't know how you will have the county will have the capacity to even remove a development, you know, to the level, because now, like the Nairobi River regeneration process, you have to get the help of the military. You know, the person chairing that, leading the exercise is a military officer, because they know that the county does not have the capacity to bring in normalcy. So if we allow the development as it is today, we will suffer more outages. You know, it is very unfortunate that the residents don't want these things, but also when a power substation was supposed to be built by Kenya Power in Lavington, the residents say that it poses more serious risks, including radiation and, you know, emergency fires and so on. So they opposed it also. So, but to stabilize that electricity, you also need to build more substations, and to ensure that the residents have, you know, stable electricity, but also the sewer system. Now today, if you are on the junction of Oledume and Arguins Kodek, you will see in a small drizzle, the sewer has to burst, because that is where the sewer for Kilimani and Kileleshwa meets. A small drizzle only, because now the drainage system has gotten into the sewer system and always is burst, and the sewer capacity there cannot support what is being churned into the system. The water we have now, everybody has a borehole. Why do you have everybody drilling a borehole in their compound? And this borehole, the contamination level, including for metals and fluoride, and, you know, it is chaos. So we are trying to say that the government, can you come in and bring sanity? Because what you are providing today is that's the slumification of Nairobi. So if you are building affordable housing for wananchi, but why don't we normalize what already exists to ensure that we protect neighborhoods, we protect sane mental living, you know, the mental health of these residents. Apart from that, you know, you see even the chaos of billboards. It's like nobody wants sanity, you know. So it is very frustrating sometimes. You see some of these things, you demand better, but people think that when you demand better, you need to, and it's very unfortunate that some of these sites, the resident, they complain and they make a lot of noise. When you come, you're alone. That whole process of yesterday, the chiefs were 4, plus 2 consultants for the environment impact assessment, you know, then 3 residents. Those were the people who were supposed to approve the meeting. 3 residents, 4 chiefs, 2. So the chiefs, the officials, were more than the residents. So I asked them that, why do you have to do this before you know? So it is very unfortunate.
You or your people.
You know, so these ones, I know that they are raising it because of the kind of actions we are taking to demand that these chiefs be removed. We don't want them to be taken elsewhere. They have to be removed.
But you forcefully remove them from the
you have to forcefully. In fact, we should have arrested them. It is very unfortunate that we didn't arrest them. They should have been tied by ropes and taken to a legal police station, because there is no reason. You know, the citizen arrest is a legal process. So we should have arrested these people and taken them to a police station. We just didn't have a vehicle to carry them. But we could have carried, and one of them was very heavy, Mr. Assistant Chief Kangete. We wanted to carry them. You saw it was Assistant Chief Kitaka, Chief Wawira, and Assistant Chief Kangete. Then I think there's one also, the Assistant Chief there, who are all, it's a part of a larger cartel, whose nini is to receive money and to, I don't know how, what is the interest of a chief in
So you are demanding investigation into the matter.
into the whole, yeah.
And probably suspension of
The removal.
licenses.
Yeah.
You are demanding the suspension of the licenses. Are you ready to table your evidence before the investigators?
Yes. In fact, this thing, I don't think we have started today. In 2023, we've risen to EACC. We just find that, because, you know, some of this development, you see the Chinese front, but behind the Chinese, there's a government official. You know, a senior political leader or a government leader who is behind the apartment. So you tell them that, are we approving these things because they are owned by senior public officials? So I think that we have to stop them, and we stop them because they are bad for our neighborhoods.
Regardless of quorum of yesterday,
Yes.
public participation.
What is lawful when even government offices are closed? The day...
Do you think the situation could have been handled better than how you handled it?
The best way to handle it yesterday was to arrest the chiefs, which we regret we didn't do. That was the best way to handle it. That these people should have been arrested today, they should have been in a police cell. They should have been... These things, you know, we are destroying families. These things are a source of insecurity. Because every time they happen, and they bring in people whom we don't know where they came from. And the same chiefs cannot tell you what they are doing to contain the insecurities in the areas, what they are doing to handle government projects and the complaints and, you know, the programs of the government, how they are communicating them to wananchi. Those people are not even sure. They don't get their services. But when it comes to one Chinese owner or a senior, a rich developer, they rush to the sites. You see, the best way to handle these things yesterday was to arrest the chiefs. And I wish that, you know, we didn't let them free. They should have been arrested. They should have been charged yesterday. And if the police are part of the cartels, they should also be removed. And we find ways of making sure. I think that it has reached a point where, as a society, we have to demand that, are we going to allow the illegalities to continue just because somebody is wearing a crown? If you're wearing a crown and you're misusing the crown, you should be stripped of the crown there and then.
Reports indicate that these calls for, of course, whoever orchestrated that kind of an incident, which is you, might be summoned. Have you been?
I've not been summoned. Some
the police might anyway try to coordinate. Should they summon you? Are you ready to appear before them?
I don't think if the police want anything from me, they'll just, you know, from the OCPD, the regional police commander, the RPC, Nini, the IG, they have my numbers. I am in Nairobi. I am free. I am walking free. If anybody has evidence somebody was assaulted and was injured, but he could fish. You know, people are fishing for cases. This one, we will take them to the highest level they think they can go.
So the police haven't tried?
They have not called me. I have not seen any someone. You know, I think they know my home. I think they know my phone numbers. They know my office area. They have not summoned me. If there's someone, I will appear. Why should I not appear? Polisi anipeleke kwa nyumba yake, ananipeleka kwa nyumba ya serikali.
Lastly, what's your call to Kileleshwa residents and Kilimani as a whole? Because if these high rises increase, of course, there will be negative effects.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying the frustration of trying to, you know, to have a sane society where you separate, you know, commercial and residential areas. But even the residential areas must be at a level where the society, you know, can support it, and it supports your mental well-being. You know, you have the developments which are happening. There is the plot ratio, which must be maintained, which is 1/3 of the plot area must be green. It is not happening in all developments. If this thing is not happening, it means that we are not promoting positive development of our mental state. We are destroying Nairobi as a whole. Nairobi is becoming a slum. And I wish that the residents would understand that we cannot allow Nairobi just because we have to make money. Just because somebody say that I bought a plot for expensively, then I have to go 20 or 30 floors. We started with, and sometimes I'm saving the developments. I tell the developers that I'm saving you from yourselves. Because you started by approving 7 floors. You know, during Kidero's time. They moved from 4 floors, they did 7 floors. These 7 floors, you as Mike, you went and bought a penthouse because you wanted the proper 360 views of Nairobi. You bought it for probably 40 million. Today, somebody has built 15 floors besides your plot. You cannot see the sun. That 40 million apartment of yours now can only go for a maximum of 15 to 17 million. So every new development, they are doing 20 floors today. Next year, after every governor, they want to go now 30. The same area. So you tell them that the new plots you are developing is cannibalizing old developments. So if you invested, you say that your employer gave you a mortgage, And this loan was supposed to help you own a house. In a short term, you find that you are going at a loss. Because you bought a 20 or 50 million house, 20, 30, 40 million house, you are supposed to pay within 20 years. Then you find that this house is being devalued. So as time goes, it becomes cheaper while you are paying more. So it's very unfortunate. And I think that we have to protect not only investments, but you also have to protect the community and the sanity of yes. And also the aesthetics. Because, the county, we as the MCs...
Have you shared this with the county governor and what is
You see, I've shared with the county government, and the county is another monster, because people are interested in the quick money. Nobody is thinking of, this is Nairobi today. What do we want Nairobi to look in 50 years? When you have left here and you have retired, or you are, safely buried somewhere, what do you want to remember yourself to have done to the city? Would you want to be remembered as somebody who promoted the densification, the slamification of Nairobi? Unajua nilisaidia hawa kujenga maproti. It is very unfortunate that everybody wants to cut corners, get the money and live today. Nobody is thinking of what is the development program. Why don't we have the new plan which was supposed to be JICA? I think it should have been upgraded. Today we have built stadium, Talanta Stadium. We have built a very nice, beautiful stadium. But that Talanta Stadium is a serious risk to the Race Course and Ngando area, because we have not provided a proper special development plan for that area. Because there's going to be a push to develop infrastructure which is supposed to support the stadium. But if it is not controlled properly, then what is going to happen is that everybody is going to develop anything kupata biashara ya stadium. So utapata watu wamefungua sehemu ya Chang'aa, you find mtu na mafanzo wanatoka hapo wanaingia kwa Chang'aa Dance. But why don't we reserve that place for players' houses, hotels, game houses, places where you can watch the games outside the stadium. If you are not able to get into the stadium, kuna place pale, mnaweza kwenda, mka watch, it's supported by the government, or you can put screens. That place remain a special development zone. We are not thinking of that. Everybody's thinking, yesterday, I think a few months ago, when developments were removed from the railways near Nyayo Stadium, which belonged, I think, to Governor Wamatangi, people saw it bad. People made a lot of noise. But the government was thinking of how to transport people from the CBD or the Nyayo National Stadium to Talanta Stadium, which you need a mass transport system, the train. So you need to have a train station at Nyayo, you need to have a train station at Race Course. How is it going to line with that area? The developments around meteorological, how does it support the stadium? Because that stadium is big, 60,000.
Have you personally shared this incident of high rises and public participation with Sakaja?
I've shared with him, but the governor is absent. This is my unfortunate. Now there's nothing much you can change. 4 or 5 years, now you're going to the 5 years. If he has not changed in 4 years, I don't think that there's nothing you can change. We have tried to even change the governor himself. It is very complicated for us, because Nairobi is very special, that for you to change the governor, the opposition leader and the president have to be on the same line, that lazima. So if they say that because of the instability, you see, we have had maandamano almost every 6 months since the new regime got into power. It is sometimes it just tells us that, why do you want too much instability? If you remove the governor today, people will start the campaigns, and So I think that it's something, is an ill which you have to live with. But we want the better for Nairobi. And I wish that we could get more support to bring sanity into Nairobi. Otherwise, what is happening today, we are destroying Nairobi. We are destroying. Asante. Asante.